All right, everybody, welcome back to an updated farming guide for your Lightspeed bundles. The last Lightspeed bundle farming guide video we did was very successful. You guys really enjoyed that one, and I thought it was a very, very good farming guide. I use it in every single roster review at this point. It's such a good farming guide when it comes to the progression of your account when it comes to purchasing Lightspeed bundles. And there are more Lightspeed bundles out, and I've also wanted to make some tweaks to the other one. While it was amazing, I don't think it was perfect in every single way because there's a lot of subjectivity to it. And this time, it is a lot more streamlined. It is a lot more focused. Overall, it's more detailed. I think this farming guide you will find much better than the first one. So if you're interested, if this is helpful, if you like it, then like the video, subscribe, stay up to date with more content just like this. We do roster reviews using this farming guide that we're going to talk about in this video all of the time. So if you are interested, then you can hop onto those. I'll give you a free roster review and we'll talk about this farming guide together. Now, with that out of the way, I think we can just get started. So first of all, what are the new Lightspeed bundles that we need to talk about? Okay, first up, there is gas. Gas is going to give you a lot of great things on the account. So gas is going to give you all of the things you need to unlock for the gas event, but it will not give you the 501st. So if you are going for gas, and as you can see, I am prepping for it. If you are unlocking gas, you have to get the 501st to go with him. It is a must. You can't put gas with really anyone else except maybe Kenobi. I mean, I don't really see gas too much with like Jedi Master Luke or anything, but gas you really are going to want to put like with Kenobi if you don't have his own team, but you really are going to want his own team. So 501st you're going to really need, but that'll give you Jedi, the Lightspeed bundle anyways, will give you Jedi like Anakin, Ahsoka, Plo Koon, Shakti. It'll give you Jedi like that. Things needed for the Negotiator. It will also give you the Negotiator itself. So with the gas bundle, you are actually getting the Negotiator itself, which is insane. It's giving you most of the ships here. I don't think it's giving you the BLT Y-Wing though, so you will have to farm that. So make sure that is a priority for you. And while I'm talking about that, I will favorite that because I'm also following my own farming guide in this video. So that's what you get in the gas bundle. You also get a few Separatists. You get some Separatist droids. The B1, B2, Magna Guard, and Droideka, I'm pretty sure is what you get in that bundle. So some Separatist stuff. Only thing you need left for that is the General Grievous bundle. Not General Grievous bundle. You need to farm General Grievous. In addition, you also have the Padme bundle, which is just a few extra Separatists, which gives you the 4 we already mentioned, plus Dooku and Jango Fett. So that's all that really is. And then the other one is hold on, I'm going to pull it up for us right now. I'm going to make sure I'm getting this right because I don't want to be brain dead here. I know the pack. The pack that I'm thinking of is the Geo bundle, which does give you, the Geo bundle does give you all 5. I just want to make sure. The Geo bundle gives you all 5 Geos, which is really great for your Malevolence fleet, helps you with your ships. GBA and Spy are really annoying relic levels to put on these guys anyways, although they are not needed at all. So if you'd like to get your Geos to be a little bit more annoying, improve your Malevolence fleet, great bundle. And then finally, we do have the Night Sister bundle, which is a pretty underrated bundle, I think, overall. The Night Sisters is a pretty great team. You can do some cheese with SLKR there. If you get your Night Sisters and then relic up your Marin, you're looking at an end game team. Also, that'll help you towards Big Cal. So that are the Lightspeed bundles that we have incorporated into this one, and also have done some restructuring with the current Lightspeed bundle farming guide. So let's talk about the first step of our Lightspeed bundle farming guide. If you have not started and you're starting from scratch, your first thing you should be getting after you get the Lightspeed bundle is a Galactic Legend. I used SLKR in this version. In the first version, we used Rey. It does not matter. You can use whatever Galactic Legend is closest to you, whatever one you want. They're both pretty much equally far away. Just kind of depends on where's your Palpatine at relic up in the game. So just kind of depends on what you're interested in going for first. This is pretty straightforward. If you're going to purchase the Lightspeed bundles, you should immediately go for one of the Galactic Legends. One of the best things you can get in the Lightspeed bundle. It's just overall best bang for your buck. If you take a look at your first order, you'll need to farm up the Finalizer, which is a great fleet, and we will talk about fleets in a minute here, but we're not going to talk about fleets right this second. But getting your Finalizer, where's my first order? There it is. You have to get your KRU to R7, Kylo Ren to R7, but overall, pretty straightforward. SLKR is an amazing Galactic Legend, and everyone should get him at some point. Next up, step number 2, we talked about this in the last one as well, is a break farm. It's not necessarily a break because you're still working on legendary stuff, but you don't want to do back-to-back Galactic Legend farms. That's going to be annoying. It's going to make you sad. You're going to hate your life. And we want to have fun while playing the game, don't we? Yes, we do. We want the game to be fun. This is a video game. This is for fun overall. So we have to make sure we're prioritizing having fun and also making our time worthwhile that we're spending in the game. So we take a look in the Starkiller event. It's pretty straightforward. You get Starkiller himself, and I'm looking for he's an UFO, I'm pretty sure. But in here, you need Palpatine and Mara Jade for his team. Pretty great. You get Starkiller himself, obviously, from the event. But you want a Jedi and an unaligned Force user. I currently am using Visa Small. I got to Relic 3, but you can use one of these rays right here temporarily until you get someone better. You can also use the Plo Koon that you'll be getting from the gas bundle in this spot. If you don't get the gas bundle, then obviously don't worry about Plo Koon, but few options there, depending on what Lightspeed bundles you got. I should say before we get too far into this, that this is assuming that you have bought all the Lightspeed bundles, but you can skip steps and you can move it around. That's what I like so much about this farming guide, is you can skip steps that don't apply to you. If you didn't buy them or you already have them, you can just skip it. If you're in the middle of another farm, but you want to switch over to following this farming guide, you can just move, spots around. You can say, oh, I'm going to move my number 2 to the number 5 spot, and we're going to flip them. And it makes sense because it's like, you know what the number is. You can see the progression of your account. So it just makes a lot of sense to me. So there you go. That's one of the benefits of this account. So if you get Starkiller, that's what you're going to be looking at. And for Jedi, you probably want like Old Ben or something. That's currently what I'm using. You get that in the other Lightspeed bundle with the Shadows of the Phoenix or Empire or whatever. Shadows of the Phoenix. Shadow of the Empire bundle. You get Old Ben. So just plug that in there for that. Unless you have Plo Koon, you want to use Old Ben somewhere else. Gas, we already talked about a little bit with what you need for the gas bundle, what it gives you. If you want to go for gas at this point, if it's a passion project for you, I think gas is you can't really go wrong with gas. He's a great character, really fun. Make sure you get the 7 stars, get the Zetas, and get his team with the 501st, but overall, great legendary. But we are going to talk about gas more later in this video. So we're on to step number 3 now. Step number 3 is the other Galactic Legend, and here we have Rey. This time I also put Zori on the same level as Rey. This is something I have fallen victim to, and it's something I am currently fixing while following my own account, is I've left my Zori and I've left my Finn Zeta behind, which is unfortunate for me. I'm going to put my next Zeta. My next Zeta is the Finn Leadership Zeta. It needs to happen. I'm going to apply all of these as well, because I'm going to be working on him right this second, and favorite that, so I know when to work on that. But Rey, and it's the other Galactic Legend. If you put her first, this is the same thing. You just flip the spots, which is what I like so much about this farming guide. You can flip things around to your own account, but overall it gives you a general flow. Zori is pretty great to go near the same time as you're farming Rey. You'll see that later that we kind of got cramped with the amount of stuff that we should be farming at each step, so I put Zori here. Great character. Will help you a lot through the event at low gear, low star. As you can see, she's right here. She does amazing things for me at this low gear, so definitely start working on your Zori around the same time that you're working on your Rey. Overall, just a great character. We look at step number 4. It is the Lightspeed Bundle catch-up. Now, this is a kind of different thing. This is where we start to diverge ourselves from the past Lightspeed Bundle farming guide. Here, I think I had a break farm more like a Lightspeed Bundle legendary or break farm that we had before. This is slightly different, slightly updated. Last time we just said Captain Rex. Now, I'm going to be updating this slightly. This time, we're talking about Marin as well. Again, we already talked about the Night Sisters. If you want to make your Night Sisters an end-game team, you need Marin. She's great. You're going to use her for Big Cal. Great character overall. Farm your Creks, get your Marin for your Night Sisters. And I have Bosk on here. Now, Bosk is needed for Bounty Hunters, needed for Houndstooth, and we're going to be starting to push ourselves towards these other farms that are not necessarily Lightspeed Bundle farms that you'll see in a second, but they're related and they're close and you need them anyway. So Bosk, not necessarily much to do with the Lightspeed bundles. I think you get him in a Lightspeed bundle. You gotta make sure he's getting modded Zetas and whatever, but make sure you're farming his Houndstooth, and we're gonna talk about what's going on next with Bosk after this one. We're gonna take a break from making sure that our catch-up mechanics are up. Well, catch-up Lightspeed bundle farms are good. Moving on to these solos. Solos are very important. Optimizing banners in GAC. It's very minimal investment for a huge payoff. You can also throw Darth Sidious in this spot now. You can also throw Darth Bane technically in this spot, but I wouldn't necessarily recommend that, especially if this is a flat Lightspeed Bundle account. This farming guide is assuming that you have nothing on your account except Lightspeed Bundle stuff, which is not necessarily true, but you have to incorporate what I'm telling you into your own farms. So these solos here are very important. Minimal investment, maximum output. Just great characters. Wampa is needed for Jedi Knight Luke Skywalker. Baby Kylo, you should already have at Relic 7 because of SLKR. The Zeta on him helps him solo more. If you can't afford or don't want to put the Zeta on him, you can put Wat Tambor with him if you're not using Wat for anything else. But that Zeta makes him very solo worthy. SWGoH Press, very straightforward. Don't really have anything else to add about him. Now, Darth Vader, I kind of put in this category, not necessarily because you want to solo him, but because he is the engine for the solo team. And it's not really a solo team. I don't know. It's kind of confusing. Basically, Darth Vader, you don't necessarily want to solo. It kind of depends on what opponents you're going up against. If you want to put a few other characters with him, that's fine, but you can put trash other characters with him. What's important with Vader is making sure Merciless Massacre is Zetaed and ready to go. And No Escape is also very nice. The more, if you put him in the leader spot as well, all 3 Zetas, they work. But if you put the Zeta on his leader, not the leader, what am I looking at? I'm looking for, is it the Merciless Massacre? I'm looking for the one that has the extra speed. Is it over here? Yes, it's right here. Sorry, it was No Escape. This is what I meant to look at. No Escape. Darth Vader gains 8 speed until the end of the following for each Empire ally, Sith ally, Jedi enemy, and Rebel enemy. That can add up really fast. You can make your Vader really fast. If you just put some other random crap characters with Vader, you can make him even faster. Obviously, you want like tanks, and just make sure they're not hitting him. You want Thrawn is a great example. You pass turn meter, you can fracture enemies. Thrawn's a pretty typical one. I love using Count Dooku on this team. Count Dooku for the counterattacks, the stun, making less people want to attack my Vader, making more ability blocks out there, so a lot of people are just using their basics. Count Dooku, super underrated to put on a Vader team, in my opinion, but Vader is the engine that is going to kill all of the enemies most likely on this team, which is why he's on the number 5 spot. Next up, we look at the number 6 spot, and that is your fleets. We're finally talking about the fleets that I mentioned earlier. The fleets are very important. Now, we talked about the Galactic Republic already. We already talked about farming the BLT, but you also probably are going to want to farm the Marauder. Now, the Bad Batch themselves, I don't know if I can necessarily recommend gearing up if you're a flat Lightspeed Bundle account. Super Kyrotech intensive team, and they're kind of falling out of favor. I hear from the top player people at Kyber, so if they're kind of falling out of favor in the meta, you don't want to, I mean, depending on what you're doing on your account necessarily, don't want to go out of your way to farm them. But the ship is great with the Negotiator. You're getting the Negotiator in the gas bundle. Obviously, you want to invest in that. You will have the Finalizer. You should have that at this point. If you want to optimize your Finalizer, which I highly recommend you do what I'm currently doing. I am farming my TIE Echelon right now. My TIE Dagger, it's kind of nice. It's kind of extra. I'm going to favorite it just for now, just because I'm working on this. But making sure that TIE Echelon is worked on, making sure you're optimizing your abilities. This is a farm I am currently working on right now. You want to improve upon what I'm showing you right now significantly. But Finalizer can be used to counter some very good fleets. You don't want to underestimate this. At this point, if you have your Negotiator done and you already had your Finalizer done, like if you already had both of these things done, you just want to touch up your Marauder and your upgrades, I suppose, and you're looking for something to do, Executor is an amazing ship. I have the Executor. It's an incredible ship. Galactic Legend level, obviously. I have it favorited, so I don't know why I just did that. We take a look at the Bounty Hunters. This is where your boss comes into play, making sure you're optimizing the characters that go on his team. But also, most importantly that I want to talk about, because obviously we know the Executor is good, what I most importantly want to talk about is Bam and his journey. To get Bam, we have a Relic Bundle, or a Lightspeed Bundle for it. With that Lightspeed Bundle, you get Mando and Grief Karga, 2 amazing endgame Bounty Hunter characters. If you haven't gotten that Lightspeed Bundle, that is highly important. And in my own opinion, I think it is the number 1 most underrated Lightspeed Bundle of all time. Not only do you get the 2 super end game bounty hunters that everyone loves. You also get really, really great light side scoundrels, which is great for a Dash Rendar team. If you have, we'll talk about Dash Rendar later, but if you bought all the Lightspeed bundles, you will have basically everything you need for a Dash Rendar team. You will have Dash himself, IG-11, Queel, you'll have L337, and Bam. That's my Dash team. It works amazing if you've bought all the Lightspeed bundles. So this Bam needs to be relicked, not only for the Dash team, but also the Razor Crest, in my opinion, is the second most important ship on the fleet, besides the Executor itself and the Houndstooth. Those two come above it, but besides, take Executor out of it, and then you have Houndstooth number one. Houndstooth is always amazing, but Razor Crest is the second most important. Getting around Taunt is huge. Marking down enemies is amazing. He's got 2 like health bar things. It's really, really cool with Razor Crest, what it can do. So making sure you're relicking up your BAM. You get the characters needed for the BAM event at relic levels. It's going to be amazing. You're not going to regret it. That bundle was amazing. Just make sure you're optimizing your Executor stuff as much as possible. We take a look at number 7 here. This is where you finally get into the prequel trilogy stuff, and this is where I say we're going to talk about gas again. If you got Star Killer at step number 2, do not also get gas. The characters on the side here are examples of things to get around the time you're farming these things. You don't necessarily need to get everything. You don't necessarily need to overinvest in everything. You don't have to farm everything all at once. You know what I'm saying? Take your time. Choose what you want. The characters at the top corner are example characters. Examples for you. So we're going to talk about Grievous. If you buy the gas bundle or the Separatist bundle, you'll have plenty of characters for a Grievous team besides Grievous himself. So really, just get that Grievous up. Work on the mods, get the Zetas, work on Grievous, whatever you need to do for that farm. Gas, we already talked about. Just apply that here if you haven't already. Padme, Geos, they'll get you Padme. Padme works in a few different teams. She can have her own really beefy Galactic Republic team, but that kind of takes away from Qui-Gon, which you can see up there as well. Qui-Gon in Grand Arena, amazing Omicron. That's what I use all my Galactic Republic Jedi on. But Padme in GAC, if you don't want to overlap your Qui-Gon and your Padme teams, you can use the Gidme team. And I will pull up my Gidme real quick here. My Gidme is technically on my defense now. Did I put it on here yet? Yes, it is. This is a decent thing you can do with Gidme if you do not have gas. If you have gas, Echo and Rex, you want to replace them with Galactic Republic support characters. Galactic Republic support. Echo and Rex fit that category. R2-D2 is a very common example of a Gidme character, but Moff Gideon and Padme work really, really well together. They create a lot of synergy with protection and courage. It's a really interesting dynamic. I highly recommend you try it at some point. It's super, super fun. But if you don't want to overlap with your Qui-Gon team and your Jedi, you can invest in the Gidme team, or in other game modes, you really don't want to leave Qui-Gon on the bench and just put all of them with Padme. So Padme is really important. You'll get her with Geos if you buy that. And you should, I haven't tested it with Relic 5, Grievous and all that stuff, but with a Grievous team, I'm Relicked up, I'm sure you probably can do it. Just make sure you're dialing on your mods and your upgrades and all that stuff. Because the Gidme, or the Padme event, I think is a little bit harder for some people than others. Just kind of depends on how good you are at the game, really. But at this point, the raid is going to be a very, very important and prevalent thing on your account. At this point, the raid should be in full swing. If you want to move your number 7 up significantly, I do not blame you. If you're at the point in your account where you already have really good fleets and you already have the solo characters done, you're skipping 5 and 6 and you go straight to the prequel. Oh, I clicked the wrong one there. You got a little teaser there, didn't you? If you already have your solos and you already have your fleets done, then you can skip those and go straight to number 7. Those are just for optimization, and this is really, really important for the raid and just great teams overall. Let's talk about what you just saw. After you get your fleets done, after you get your Lightspeed Bundle catch-ups, easy plug-and-play characters done, ships, Galactic Legends, all that kind of stuff, Jedi Master Luke, I personally would recommend. However, you will see later on in this list that there is a 4th Galactic Legend now on this Lightspeed Bundle farming guide that you can switch depending on where you are in your account, which we'll get to when we talk about the next Galactic Legend. But if you're starting from nothing and you have nothing on your account and you buy all of the Lightspeed bundles, you buy the Hyperdrive bundle immediately, day one, you get everything. I don't know if they're going to make that an option. This is just hypothetically for this farming guide. If you just have everything on your account day one, your third of Galactic Legend probably is going to be Jedi Master Luke. You get the Ewoks for the C-3PO team, which is amazing. I don't think I talked about that at the beginning of the video, did I? I didn't talk about the Ewoks at the beginning of the video. I forgot about the Ewoks. I'm sorry. You get an Ewok bundle that'll give you C-3PO. C-3PO, great character, can plug it in a few different spots, but you're really going to want to sit him on the home of the CLS team. So first you get your 3PO, then you get your CLS team completely done. That's CLS himself, Han Solo, Chewbacca, CLS, or wait, hold on, not CLS, 3PO, and Chewpio. The only one out of there that's like a normal farm is Chewpio. CLS, Chewbacca, and 3PO are legendaries, and Han Solo was a raid character, but you can buy him now through shipments and whatever, so making sure you get your Han Solo, that's pretty great, and farm your Chewpio at this point. And once you completely finish your CLS team, then you move on to a Jedi Knight Luke Skywalker farm. You get Wampa out of it, which you should have Wampa done already at this point. You need Hoda. Hoda is going to fit into a Jedi Knight Revan team, which we will talk about in just a second. But there's a few other things in there. Those are the two really key characters you need to farm. And then you get Jedi Master Luke. Jedi Master Luke builds off of the Shadows of the Empire bundle. You'll have a CLS team at this point. You'll have 3PO. You'll have Jedi Knight Luke Skywalker. Jedi Knight Luke Skywalker leads to so many things in the game. It's not even funny. So, getting your Jedi Knight Luke Skywalker, very, very important. Getting Jedi Master Luke is the next step following this trajectory. Now, what are we going to talk about? What was I just talking about there? So, we talked about Hoda. Hoda can fit into a few different teams. Hoda can go onto a Jedi Master Luke team, but it can also go onto a Jedi Knight Revan team. So, Jedi Knight Revan eventually kind of leads into a Jedi Master Luke. So if you get Hoda before this, you can have. If you get Hoda before Jedi Master Luke, you put your Hoda on Jedi Knight Revan. If you get Hoda after, you put him with Jedi Master Luke. And at this point, you probably are going to want to get Jedi Master or Jedi Knight Luke. Okay, hold on. His team is Jedi Master Luke, Jedi Knight Luke, Jedi Revan, Hoda, and the other person that you can put on this team, if you don't want to put, like, I don't know, Shocked here, whatever you want to do. The other thing you could do is Big Cal. Number 9 here is a passion project. You have been farming consistently. Oh, I bought this, I bought this, I bought this, I bought this, I bought this. You want a break, and I get it. I get it. This is going to be very far in the distant future, and maybe you're already working at this at some point, but I figured I would put this on the farming guide at some point. It's just fair for you to sit down, take a break, farm some stuff you want from some extra teams. If you want to get Malak, you need Darth Revan and Jedi Revan. You can get Jedi Revan with that. Throw that with Jedi Master Luke. Big Cal, as you can see, is on here on that side. Jedi Master Luke really, really works really well with Big Cal. Big Cal is annihilating GAC and a lot of opponents right now. Big Cal is amazing. Amazing character. So, you want to get that? Excuse me. Totally understand. Totally understand. Darth Bane is a really popular one everyone's chasing right now. So is Jar Jar. Makes a lot of sense if you really want to get Jar Jar. You can get him a lot sooner. I'm never going to tell anyone to wait on Bane or wait on Jar Jar. I'm not going to tell you to do that. If you want to get those characters, get them. But at this point, this is probably where you want to go for Malak if you haven't already. This is probably where you want to go for Big Cal to put on that Jedi Master Luke team. If you get your Jedi Master Luke to R9 and you get your Big Cal on that team, that is an amazing team. It's amazing. So this is a pretty great spot for it. Another thing I see heavily underdeveloped on a lot of even Kyber level rosters is Traya. I have a full Relic 5 Traya team, and I rarely don't beat anything with it. Now, I mean, you obviously have to match it up properly, but Traya is a really, really great team that a lot of people underestimate. Highly recommend investing in your Traya at some point. If you want to do that at this spot, you can. But I want to remind you that this number 9 spot, these characters are just examples. You don't necessarily need to do these things. I think your top 2 priorities realistically for this spot really should be Malak and probably Big Cal. Those 2 are probably the biggest important characters for you to get around this time. If you don't already have them, Big Cal makes your Jedi Master Luke amazing. You get a lot of UFUs out of there, which we can use for a variety of different teams. And Malak is just an amazing character. You get Jedi Knight Revan. You get Darth Revan, which is an amazing character. You get the idea. Traya is amazing, but Darth Bane and Jar Jar are not necessarily feasible for a lot of people. I just wanted to mention them on the farming guide here. So next up, we are at step number 10. Step number 10, the next Galactic Legend is Sith Eternal. Now, you can move these guys around with Jedi Master Luke, and the thing that really was dependent on it is what you have on your account before you started the Lightspeed Bundle. If you had literally nothing in our hypothetical situation that we talked about, where you got the hyperdrive and the Lightspeed Bundles day one, and you don't know what to do, now you would do Jedi Master Luke first. But more realistically, if you have things on your account before the Lightspeed Bundles, you might want to consider getting Sith Eternal first. He's just very, very close for a lot of farms. I just realized I've been sitting here talking about what's on the screen with the Galactic Republic open for a minute. I'm sorry. I want to show you how easy it is, not for SLKR, but how easy it really is to get Sith Eternal. He's going to be my next Galactic Legend. You have Palpatine. At this point, you should have that done. Vader, you should have done at this point. Piet, maybe you don't if you didn't get Executor, but you should. If you didn't, I mean, we'll talk about this in a second, but you should get Imperial Troopers. Let's take a look at the bottom here. Colonel Stark, Imperial Trooper. General Veers, Imperial Trooper. Grand Moff Tarkin, whatever. Grand Admiral Thrawn, really nice for the Vader team that we were talking about. The Palpajade or the Vader solo, whatever team you want to call it. Really great character. Jedi Anakin, you should have at least at relic levels because of the Lightspeed Bundles. Just taking him up a little bit. It's a really, really great character, especially in GAC. Imperial TIE Bomber, you should already have because of Executor. So that leaves you with not that many characters if you really went out of your way. So realistically, what you probably have to relic up is Stark and Veers. Maybe you don't have Veers done, but you should have Veers at this point. Colonel Stark goes on the Imperial Trooper team temporarily. Grand Moff Tarkin, you probably get at this point. Sith Marauder, if you went and got Darth Revan, hopefully you are already relicking up your Sith Marauder. Count Dooku, super underrated character. You get him to relic 5 from a Lightspeed Bundle, so just take him up 1 extra relic level. That's one thing checked off the list. Darth Maul, kind of a pain in the ass, I won't lie. But Darth Sidious, he's a really great datacron, so if you're a late game player, getting your Darth Sidious up and running for that datacron is an amazing, amazing thing. We've been using Darth Sidious with that datacron these last few GACs, and oh my god, it is so fun. Super, super fun. So definitely check out getting your Darth Sidious up and running if you're a late game roster. And then Director Krennic is terrible. And Royal Guard, he's a really great character. He fits as a tank onto a Palpajade team or an Vader solo team, and eventually he goes on Lord Vader. But Royal Guard is a pretty great Imperial tank overall. You really do want to invest in, so that's not a bad requirement at all. After all of the farming that we've already done, Sith Eternal is pretty close, and as you can see, 10 out of 16, I'm more than halfway done, and I've barely intentionally farmed for him. The only thing I think I've intentionally farmed for him that is a done requirement so far is Tarkin and Stark. I was going to upgrade Veers anyways, and everything else, I already wanted to do everything else. So, this is super easy Galactic Legend. You should be more than halfway there at this point, and getting him done is great. Now, we take a look at the other things that are next to him. Now, you could put Darth Bane with Sith Eternal, but honestly, a lot of people are seeing that as a waste right now, because Darth Bane, in a lot of ways, can be better than Sith Eternal. He's a Galactic Legend Conquest unit in his own right, one of the best, if not the best Conquest unit ever released. So, if you want to use Sith Eternal, you're probably going to need to scrounge up your own team. That can be with armor, that can be, if you want like GBA as like a tank, this is where you could fit your Geonosians in. I didn't really put them on the Lightspeed Bundle farming guide here because they're just such an easy team to upgrade, not necessarily worth going out of my way to make any special note of making sure you apply extra relic levels to them. Whatever you get from them is nice if you don't get anything or whatever, but Sith Eternal is going to need his own team if you don't use Darth Bane, especially. Wat Tambor would be a great spot for... Wat Tambor would be good right here on this spot for Sith Eternal. So you need to build your own Sith Eternal team, basically, just because he's such a one of those Galactic Legends like Lord Vader that needs some lifters in here. So, and another thing that we were kind of touched on, but I'm going to go fully in depth on, is if you are farming your Sith Eternal and you do not have your Imperial Troopers, Sith Eternal is the time to invest in your Imperial Troopers. You need to get your Veers, you need to get your Stark, you need your Piet. That's 3 down out of a team. Moff Gideon is pretty good, but he can plug into that Gitme team that we talked about. Dark Trooper is a must. And if you're running 3v3, your Imperial Trooper team is Veer's Piet Dark Trooper. That's your 3v3 Imperial Trooper team. And Range Trooper is an amazing character to continue the turn meter and the protection and all that stuff. So there's a few options you can do with an Imperial Trooper team, but if you do not have Imperial Troopers by the time you get around here, what are you doing, man? Get your Imperial Troopers, right? Okay, that is Sith Eternal, and our last one on the Lightspeed Bundle Farming Guide is number 11, the building blocks. You are given the building blocks to upgrade and farm as so many things. 10 other steps we just talked about. And a little bonus one is step number 11, the final one, is what does this lead you to? At number 11, you can kind of go off into the wild and build whatever you feel like building. At this point, you naturally might have a Dash Rendar team. Dash Rendar, you get a lot of characters. We already talked about this team in this video. But Dash Rendar, if you want to put the Zetas, Omicrons, a few extra relic levels on that team, not a bad thing at all. Mon Mothma, you will already have Mon Mothma because of the Jedi Master Luke farm. She's a requirement in there. So if we take a look at my team checklist, let me scroll kind of farther down here. You can see this is kind of a common Mon Mothma team. You can also put, what's her name? Gina Carano. What's her name? Cara Dune. You put Cara Dune on this team as well. There's a few things you can plug in. But overall, I mean, if you have Kyle Katarn, if you have Cara Dune, you already have Mon Mothma, this is a super easy team to just get those last few characters, put it together. I mean, it's kind of a fun, easy farm. At this point, the Chimera. I didn't get to talk about it when we did the fleets earlier, but the Chimera is a pretty great fleet. Empire ships, you're going to be farming a few of them here or there for requirements, and overall, you're going to want them to converge onto a Chimera lineup. Chimera is super, super fun. The key players here is the Imperial TIE Bomber, Fighter, the Palpmobile, which is the Emperor Shuttle, the TIE Defender, and the TIE Advance. Those are kind of like the key 5 ships you really, really want. The Gauntlet is nice. I don't have it upgraded yet. The TIE Reaper is whatever. And then obviously the Scythe and the Interceptor are conquest characters, or conquest units, so you got to farm those. And that's going to take you a while. But super, super solid fleet. Again, you'll be farming some of this stuff naturally, so making sure you're optimizing that. Adrad/Profundity. At this point, you'll have Jedi Master Luke, and the Jabba Leia triangle with Jedi Master Luke is very strong. So you got Leia Jabba up there as well. But Adrad team with Profundity as your another Galactic Legend ship for you to get is not a bad thing at all. Dash Rendar ship is needed for it. You need Jedi. I think you need Jedi Knight Luke. Maybe I could be wrong there. I mean, we could just pull it up. But overall, Profundity kind of fits in with that general 3-way Galactic Legend farm, but it's really a 5-way farm because you need Jedi Master Luke, Leia, Jabba, Profundity, and kind of Executor, and then that leads into Sith Eternal, SLKR. So it's a big web of overall connected farming, right? So overall, you want at this step to be building up towards these kind of things that are really going to level up your game and continue to expand and build off of what you've already farmed. That's really what this big thing is about. And after this, if I was to do number 12, I would tell you to start working on like conquest units. I'd tell you go for Kenobi because you hopefully will have Cat and you'll have a lot of Galactic Republic stuff. This shouldn't be too hard for you. I mean, you can just keep going. At this point, if you wanted to get Jar Jar, if you wanted to get, like Afra, if you wanted like a break fun little farm, I mean, at this point, you would have pretty much most of these journeys done. It's guiding you through a flow of farms that just go right into each other. So that's kind of the Lightspeed Bundle farming guide. Now, I made 2 versions of this. We went over the V2. This is the version that we just went over step by step with in the top corner right over there. This is the complicated, kind of confusing version of it that gives you a bunch of examples to do at each step. You don't have to do all of them. I mean, if you wanted to optimize your roster, you probably would. But if you want a more simple version, this is not necessarily me telling you not to farm anything. It's just a more simple graphic for people to understand. I think a lot less convoluted and cluttered. So this is kind of the stuff I would recommend you prioritize, you look at that really symbolizes what I'm trying to get across. But both the graphics here, very helpful, very important. And if you want to save them, go for it. Screenshot it right now on your phone. I'll just be in the corner, I guess. But this is the farming guide. This is the new Lightspeed Bundle farming guide that I will be preaching on every single roster review that asks me about Lightspeed Bundles. This is what I will tell you about the flow of Lightspeed Bundle farming in general in 2024 with the new Lightspeed Bundle farming packs you have to farm, my guys. And man, that was a long video, and that was a lot of me yapping, but there was a lot to talk about, and I hope you guys found this helpful. Thank you guys so much for watching all the way to the end of this video, if you did, because, man, this was a long one, and I did a lot of yapping. So, if this was helpful for you, let me know in the comment section down below. Feel free to screenshot and use this in your farming guide going forward. And yeah, I really appreciate you guys hanging out with me. If you're interested, I do free roster reviews pretty much every single live stream, so join our Discord server to get a part of those roster reviews. I also do a bunch of other content through there. I do a monthly Q&A series. I do roster roasts as well, something fun. So if you want to check that out, feel free. But I'll see you in the next video. Thank you guys so much for watching. You guys are amazing.